What is up, guys? Welcome to July 4th weekend. Y'all can see I'm not in my usual location. I'm doing this remotely. So I apologize, but we're going to try to get this thing done tonight and try to stay on our schedule. 7:30 Friday nights. That's what we're trying to stick to. I know a lot of you enjoy that time. What's up, Lance? Good to see you, buddy. Glad to have you in here. And we're going to give a couple of shout outs. PA Digger, Timmy J, Metal Detecting with the CZ Kid, Get That Treasure. What's up? I'm going to try to run through the list. Ralph, glad to have you in here, Ralph. Wisco Detect, as always. Thank you, Wisco, for being here. Sniff it out. Glad to have all you guys in here. If I've missed somebody, then I'll try to catch you during the live stream. Okay. So again, we're on the road. Unfortunately, I've got a sick father right now, so I've been having to go back and forth between my hometown and here. So anyway, but I wanted to make sure we did get in our live stream and talk a little bit. I know a lot of you, and I put up there that we're sort of waiting to see what XP is going to release. So we are going to be talking about that. And first off, before we start tonight, anybody got something they want to share, a good find or something that they found out this week? Let's talk a little bit about that for the first few minutes, and we'll get into the other stuff. So if you've got something that you would like to share with the group, and you want to tell about maybe a great find that you've had this week, would love to hear about it. And share away. Let's give some shout outs to some people, because I know some of you have been detecting. Yeah, this has been rough. My dad's been really sick over the last 5 or 6 years. So but he's doing better, and I had an opportunity to come do the live stream. So I wanted to make sure I was here for you guys too as well. But again, families first, as always. So always remember that. Yeah, it's been really hot here too. I think the next few days here in South Carolina, we're going to hit temperatures around 92, between 92 and 96 degrees. So yeah, it's going to be really, really, really warm. So be careful, guys. If you're going out there, make sure you're hydrating, you're taking care of yourselves. I want to make sure that I see each and every one of you on here each night that we have our live stream. So take care of yourself, hydrate in this heat if you are going to be out there. And again, I don't want anybody passing out from a heat stroke, because I love seeing you guys on here with me each and every night. Now, originally, we did have a special show planned for tonight, but we're going to try to do that special show next week. We're going to talk about our gun that Surfside Dan found, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, and I'm going to show y'all that gun. And that gun is unbelievable. Wait till you guys see it. It is the restoration on it is just phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to sharing that information with you guys. I'm going to try to get Surfside Dan's going to come on here live with me. So he's going to talk about what we were doing and tell you a little bit about some of his adventures that he just went on, which I think you guys are really going to enjoy. So Surfside Dan's going to be joining me hopefully next week, and that'll be on next week's show. So I see some people are telling me some of their finds. Get That Treasure said he found a Sterling West Point Academy Sweetheart pen. Wow, that is so cool. And again, guys, if y'all find something, don't hesitate to share a picture of those things. What I'd like to do too with this show is maybe start the show with showing some finds and giving some people some recognition and some shout outs from that week when they've been out. So please feel free to send me those pictures. You can send them to my email, and I have my email listed in the description if you would like. Or you can contact me on Facebook or Instagram and send me a direct message. And you can send those pictures through that as well. And I'll be more than happy to put some of your finds up there because I want the show to be about all of us, not just me. So I definitely would love to share those finds with you guys. So definitely do that. So share those finds. And then I'd love to start giving some shout outs at the beginning of the show, show some pictures of some of those things, and get you guys involved. Yeah, the gun part thing is going to be really, really good. Timmy J said he's looking forward to that. Yeah, you'll really be amazed. And we're going to talk a little bit about that gun and so on. Lance says, it's so hot that I fried an egg in a skillet on my 9-inch coil. That's about the way it is here too, Lance. It's pretty warm. So y'all can see I'm actually in my dad's kitchen. So I'm doing this from this remote location. I don't have my usual relics and all my other things around, but it's okay. I'm using my computer camera. So if it doesn't look quite as clear as it normally does, that's the reason why. But so glad that all of you made it in here. And Surfside Dan is on here. He says, CZ, thank you. And I can't wait for us to do that show. So again, can't wait to do that. So I've seen one good find that was posted by Get That Treasure. And it looks like everybody else is saying, hey, it's been really hot. What's up, Bobby Short? Glad to have you in here. Coin Goblin, glad to have you in here too. Yeah, Get That Treasure says the heat's gotten so hot it's turned the ground into concrete, and that's the truth. It's heating up. Luckily, we've been able to get some rain. It looks like we're going to have some rain coming in real soon. So, would anybody like to share anything else as far as finds and things like that? Because again, that's what I would really like to start the show with, giving some people some shout out. Let's talk about those finds. So, you know, again, guys, I'd love for you to share those things with me. You can share them either through email, you can share them through Instagram or Facebook. Just go on my Southern Relic Adventures page, and I'd love to give you guys some shout outs because we have one of the most amazing groups on YouTube, and I know that, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Lance says that he found a couple of coal miners tags this week. That's really cool. I don't think I've ever seen one of those, Lance. So again, you guys are finding things that some people probably will never see, or maybe they want to know if they find that what it actually is. And by seeing it on here, it'll help them recognize those things. So that's the whole point in doing that. Coin Goblin says the air quality from the Canadian wildfires is also an issue up north where you are. Yeah, I know that's been really bad. I've seen some pictures, but you can actually see some of that even down here as well from those fires. The Doc Dakota says he found what may be a 1909 military button with a sterling ring. That's a great find. Yes. And again, y'all send me those pictures. I can put those things up for you guys. So would love to be able to do that. James Bizzle says, come on up to Washington State at 75. Oh, James, you're making me sick, buddy. You're making me sick. John Brantley's he's chomping at the bit. Any news to what XP is up to? And we're getting ready to talk about that. Timmy J, if you go to my Southern Relic Adventures page, I have a group page and then I have my own page, both Southern Relic Adventures. You can send me those pictures through Facebook Messenger, or you can just post them in the group and then I can copy them. That's real easy for me to do as well. So yeah, if you check out my Instagram and Facebook page, you can definitely do that. And love to get some of you guys' finds up there. Ralph says he lives up in Ontario, Canada. I bet you're right there with all the fires. And Lance says 75 degrees this winter here in Alabama. It sure is, definitely. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the product launch for XP. So I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't know what's coming out. I'm still speculating. I feel like I've got some sort of a feeling that I might know what it is, but I'm not totally sure. So don't hold me to this, but it's looking like it's going to be an app. I think it's going to be the app, and I think it's going to have something to do with, of course, naturally with depth. And now what that app is going to give us, I don't really know. And it may be an app and something else, but right now I'm really leaning towards the app, and I'm really hoping that it's a hard, product as well, other than just the app. Get That Treasure says he bets it's a 15, and it could be. I've had some people speculate that it could be maybe like a pulse induction type coil to give us more depth. But we got the 13-inch coil. I don't know. I really don't. But I'm really, really, really hoping that it's going to be the app, and it's going to be something to go along with it. A lot of you, I hope everybody participated in XP's survey that they sent out. I think that that was sort of an indicator. If you filled that survey out, then you should have gotten a pretty good indication on maybe what they're up to. I'm gonna try to adjust this real quick. What they're up to. So, you know, if you haven't filled out the survey, go to XP's website, fill out that survey. You get registered for free prizes and free giveaways. So you definitely want to do that if you haven't done that already. Yeah, Jason Dunn says more XP hyperbole. Yes, it seems could be, but Jason, I'm really hoping that it's gonna be coming soon. What do you guys think? I mean, I know we talked a little bit about this last week. Has anybody got any change of heart? Maybe what you thought last week versus what you might think this week. And I know a lot of you are saying, yeah, get that treasure said. We've been hearing about an app since the ARX came out. It's been a long time, but maybe this is the time. I mean, I don't know. But there are so many possibilities, and that's what makes this fun. I mean, we're all speculating right now, and XP's got the hype machine in full mode, releasing that video. But I'm still leaning maybe towards an app, and I'm hoping for something to go along with the app that's going to help us as well. So let's see what happens, guys. But I think it's going to be great. Whatever it is that, I don't, like I said last week, I don't think they would have released a video if they really didn't feel like this is something that's going to be a game changer, sort of like type thing. So we'll see. We'll see. So tell me what you guys think. Lance says, not sure how an app on a phone is going to help us. Well, it'll help you pinpoint where you found things. I know that was one of the main things with it. But like I said the other day, what if it's an app that actually connects to the coil and gives you maybe some sort of different screen? What if they're going to give you a mount that you can put on your dais, to put the phone up there, and you can connect your phone when you're using this whatever that's coming out? It could be something along those lines. It could be something to tell us what's in the ground. It could be a colorized screen, maybe on your phone with the mixed in with the app. I don't know, but those are some things. Those are some possibilities, I think. Yeah, Get That Treasure says he wants a heads-up display, and a lot of people have said that, for sure. James Bazell says, I saw a picture of a 2-box detector. A lot of people have been leaning that way towards the bigger size coil, either the 2-box or the 15-inch coil, since it seems like they were focusing on depth. But again, if y'all notice the video, they've got all the coils lined up on one side, and they've got all of the headphones lined up on the other side. And then if you notice down at the very bottom, you see a little red circle that's spinning around, and then you'll notice there's something updating. And that's what makes me think it has something to do with an app. But again, like I said, we're all just going to have to wait and see. So when do I think this is going to happen? Now, this is just sheer speculation. Don't go back and say, well, Southern Relic Adventure says that it's going to happen tomorrow or next week. Right now, I really believe it's going to happen sooner than later, and I really believe it's going to be maybe next week. I think we'll find out some more next week. So that's just my guess, okay? So please don't go out there and say, well, Southern Relic Adventure said that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I'm just saying I think it might happen next week. I was really hoping for this week that it would happen, but we'll see. Lance says, laugh out loud, my phone battery only lasts about 25 minutes when not plugged in. I know. We'll see, though. Like I said, guys, that's going to be great. We'll see what happens with it. Maybe they'll turn up the juice and give us 50% more power like MindLab. I don't want it to turn into a MindLab machine at this point. So let's hope that that's not where we're heading, but it could be some sort of thing to hook up with your phone and you get a colorized screen. That's a possibility. I don't know. But I just know that I'm excited and I'm waiting to get it and hear from it. So I think that's going to be really, really good. Digging Buddy says maybe at the rally this weekend, and they were at Italy. So I don't know. I haven't seen any or heard anything from that rally yet. I saw the video that XP put up talking about the rally, but I didn't see any mention of any new products or any new things on there. And believe me, I have asked. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I want to know just as much as y'all. And but they're keeping this pretty tight-lipped, pretty top secret. And that makes me think it is something that's going to be, pretty massive or pretty game changing. Let's just put it that way. But I could be wrong. We'll see. Timmy J says that he found an 1816 shilling and gold pendant picks. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Timmy J. I will put those up next Friday night for you guys that do share those things. I'll gather them all together and we'll put them up at the beginning of the show. Give a couple of you guys some shout outs and show those finds, because that's what makes it really cool. It's what we find. I mean, we wouldn't be doing this if we weren't looking for things. Surfside Dan says new coal to handle the hot dirt and cold pepper. Yeah, and Surfside Dan and I talked about that the other day. It could be something to deal with hot soil. Of course, they do have other things over in Europe too. So some people were worried that it might be focused more on the European crowd. But I don't know. I don't see that, being the main focus. I think they're going to do something else. So we'll see. We will definitely see. Lance says, did you see my video on frequencies and iron with the Deus II? The max seems to yes. And Sharpshooters, I don't think not on here tonight. Of course, I don't even know if he probably thought I wasn't going to do a live, but I was able to sneak away for a few minutes to actually get the live in. But running that max frequency of 40 does tend to help in unmasking in iron. And so that I'm glad you said that too, Lance, because that was something. David, you can, if you go over to my Facebook page or my Instagram page and just put in Southern Relic Adventures, just look for my logo and send your pics there. And I'd love to share you guys find. Of course, tell me your name, especially if you got some sort of weird thing with your handle or whatever. But just tell me who you are, and this is what I found. And also too, guys, if you can tell me the circumstances you found it in, that would be even better. So I can sort of tell a little story at the beginning of the show. So that'd be good. And I'd love to feature some of those at the beginning of the show. So thank y'all so much for doing that. Digging Buddy says, so big that Mind Lab and Nocta are going to need to launch 5 more. Mind Lab was throwing those detectors out left and right. That's just crazy what they've been doing. But I think that's hurt Mind Lab too, because they're having a hard time keeping up with all the things that go with a lot of those coils as well, and those new machines. So we'll see what happens. So somebody, Lance was talking about the higher frequencies, which is going to bring me to the next point. Hey, David, glad to have you in here. Mark, glad to have you in here. Thank you, guys. Always. Digging Buddy, glad to have you in here. David Frazier. Thank you, David, for being in here. Metal Detecting Northwestern Wisconsin, glad to have you in here. As always, we got such a fantastic group, and you guys are spectacular. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about tonight is programs. I know we've discussed a little bit about the upcoming release, and the update has happened. But what are you guys seeing as far as programs? What do you guys think are some of the best programs that are working for you, either relic hunting or park hunting? And if you specify that, just tell me, for relic hunting, this is what I'm using, or for park hunting, this is what I'm using. And share your settings, because there are a lot of people on here who are looking to try things and looking for information. And again, I feel like that our group is probably one of the most knowledgeable groups on YouTube, and most of us in here are Deus II users. You may be a Mind Lab guy or not the guy, and that's fine. That's great. I'm glad to have everybody on here. But again, we are mainly talking about Deus II stuff tonight. But go ahead and share some of those programs and some of the settings that you guys are finding that are working. Good evening, Pete. Glad to have you in here. And Metal Detecting Northwest, he says, I only use sensitive full tones for all hunting. Great. So Northwestern Wisconsin, tell me a little bit, what types of settings are you running? And tell me a little bit about what you're adjusting using sensitive full tones. That would be good to go. So I know a lot of us, we've talked about sensitive full tones, and I know some of you have come back and said, hey, I watched your show. I tried sensitive full tones, and y'all sent me some amazing things too. And that, again, that would be great too. If you send a pic in, or you tell me what program you were using in your settings too, so people can see some of the things that they could possibly find using that program. Sniff It Out says he's using that Forager program. Yeah, and I saw that. I saw that video. That I can't remember who put that up. Was that you, Sniff It Out, or was that, I don't know who put it up, but I did see that. I haven't really looked at those settings yet. Lance says, I've been using the fast bass program with sensitive full tone settings, put in fast program. And I tend to use fast, but I've been going back, and I said this last week, I've been going back into some of my older sites and ran sensitive full tones. And like I was saying last week, you might dig a little more iron using sensitive full tones, but I do think you gain a tad in unmasking using sensitive full tones. So, again, sensitive full tones and fast, those are two great programs. How many of you have tried the general program? That would be the other one. David Moss says, Relic Hunting audio filter is a game changer. Yes, I love the audio filter. I've used it out on the beach, guys, and it works really well. I did a ring recovery last weekend. After our live stream, I found a beautiful gold wedding band for a gentleman that he lost it a week ago. But the audio filter, I tend to run it up a little bit. I think I only had it on 2, but I'll run it when I'm out on the beach. And I've been running Threshold too out on the beach. For those of you that want to know that. Coin Goblin says, I used a modified general program with recovery of 1. Okay, good. Iron volume 2.5 or 2. Okay. 5 tones with audio response on 4. So the deep coins sound quiet, hits coins deep, and still plenty fast on recovery. Yeah, that's a great setup. You know what? I have not tried the general program with the new update yet. I know that Mental Metal put out a coin program, and he put out another one the other day using a different setup. But I need to go out and use general again. So definitely. Thank you so much, Coin Goblin, for sharing those settings with us. The Doc Dakota says, I do whatever Tennessee Sharpshooter recommends. Sharpshooter is a great wealth of knowledge. Of course, he tests a lot of these machines, and again, he knows what works, what doesn't work in some cases. And again, yeah, he's a good one. He's a good one to be following. Don't Tread on Me Metal Detecting. He says, hi, everyone. Sensitive full tones, high square tones, everything else adjusts to the site. And I love high square. If you guys have not tried high square with your settings, I think you need to. You'll find it to be quite enjoyable. Get That Treasure says, in the urban demo sites with heavy trash, I have good luck with fast, full tones, bottle cap 5, audio response 5, discrimination 20. Oh, wow. You got the discrim really maxed out, but I get it because you're in a real high trashy site. So yeah, so there you go. So high trashy site, he's saying, use the fast program, which is what I used. I use fast in trashy sites, and it works really, really, really well. The bottle caps at 5. The only thing I worry about with bottle caps, and I'll say this, Get That Treasure, sometimes if you take that thing up, usually above 3, I have seen it where it might knock out some gold. So that's something just to be a little bit aware of. Audio response at 5, that's good. And then, of course, the discrimination to get rid of some of those junk targets, and that makes sense. And Don't Tread on Me says that he uses it at pounded out sites. Yeah, same way here. Don't Tread on Me Metal Detecting, good. Joe Dirt says general full tones for parks. Love it, love it, love it. Mark says, I use the general all the time. Yeah, and I had a lot of success with general. For those of you that do follow me on Facebook and follow me on Instagram and some of the others, I posted a picture of a couple of Confederate buttons that I dug back in March. And I was using the general program, and it worked great. I love general too. So general program definitely one. And they've done some things to it, and I really do need to test it. But since it's gotten so hot, I've sort of turned more towards the beach over the last few weeks. Surfside Dan says, Only Me Metal Detecting is the name of the person who posted the. Okay. Thank you, Surfside Dan. So yeah, the Forager program, if you want to check out Only Me Metal Detecting, I'll give him a little plug. And he had a program. I have not looked at it yet. I saw it, but I have not looked at it. Metal Detector Northwestern Wisconsin says, I use square tones. Okay. I like that. 6.8 discrimination, no notch. Bottle caps at 3. I like that. Sensitivity 95. Awesome. Silencer 2 or 3. I don't use audio filter. I like to hear the ready recovery 2. Okay. I don't know. I'm assuming recovery will set it too. Yeah, so the silencer, be careful with that. And I think sharpshooters mentioned this. When you start going up above 2, sometimes that can get a little bit dicey if you're in a relic site. But if it's working for you, Northwestern Wisconsin, go for it. I love it. I love it. Great settings. Thanks for sharing too, Northwest Wisconsin. Appreciate it. Lance says, I have also been using a lower audio response. I would have never dug that Seated Liberty half with high audio response because of the overload tone. Not a bad idea, Lance. How many of you run your audio response above 4? I usually don't run my. Every now and then I'll run 5, but I usually don't run mine above 4. I'm curious. Get That Treasure says, I feel like on version 1.1 the audio response was shifted down a notch, or maybe I'm going deaf. I don't know. I haven't really adjusted the audio response a ton to sort of see that, but that's something that we can definitely look into. Get That Treasure. Thanks so much for sharing that, and I'll see if I can check that out. I might even send it to Sharpshooter because he loves that kind of stuff. Surfside Dan says, correction, his name is Only Me Again Metal Detecting for the Forager program. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Very good. I agree with that. Thank you. James Bazell says, I'm a coin hunter in Newer Parks, and I used a modified program based off of the general program. Right. And a lot of people have had a lot of success with the general program. And I've had a lot of success with the general program before the update. Now, I haven't used it since the new update came out. So I definitely want to be able to try that. And for coin hunting, it seems like a lot of people are saying that it seems to be working really well with park hunting and coin hunting. So sounds like you're on the right track there, James. So definitely something that that a lot of us could try. And again, guys, thanks for sharing these things, because again, there's somebody out there that is looking for some help or assistance, or they're looking for new things to try. And all of us together, sharing information, sharing settings, sharing what works for us in our areas, I think that just helps all of us. So I really appreciate you guys sharing that information. So let's go down here. Let's see what else we got. The Forge, Mark says, the Forge program is Only Me Again Metal Detecting. Thank you, Mark. Coin Goblin says, what's great about the Deus II high discrimination is it doesn't affect depth at all. And I've seen that. Remember, though, with the old Deus one, if you turn that discrimination up, usually above 10, you started losing depth. And the Deus 2 doesn't seem to have that problem. So the only thing is, though, when you start running that discrimination up, again, you will take away a little bit of unmasking ability as well. Carson Chris, glad to have you in here tonight. Going to the station tomorrow, I'll be running version 1.1, and my hunting buddy will be running version 0.71. We haven't been to this site before. It was active from 1860 to 1920. Carson Chris, share those finds with us and let us know what you see. Would love to hear your comparisons between the two versions. Of course, 1.1 has the 0.71 filters, but you got some other features that can help you with 1.1 that 0.71 doesn't have. So that'll be interesting to see how you guys come out. It sounds like a great location too. James Bazell says, I'm in agreement with Coin Goblin and my settings are close to what he uses. And a lot of us are using the same things, just with small tweaks and things into it based on where we're hunting. And that's great. That just shows that most of us on here, we really understand our machines. Get That Treasure says, I used to never run it above 4 until 1.1. Okay. So you feel like it's dropped in audio response as far as the volume level of it. I don't know. Yeah, Sharpshooter be one to test that. I might have to ask him, and I'll try to go back and remind him. Maybe he can make some videos with that. Don't Tread on Me says he runs at 4. Very good. We're talking about audio response too, guys. 4. That's where I run mine. 4 or 5. That's right. Jay says I'm in heavy cellar holes. 2 or 3 audio response. Of course, that iron will blow your eardrums off. So Jay, I get that 100%. Dwayne Cron says after you pound those iron sights, run the notch up to 40, it will come back to life. Right. And I've talked about this, and I know Sharpshooter has talked about it. My buddy Michael Coley, we've sort of gone back and forth on this too. But yeah, you can notch out. And if you notch out up to usually about 30, sometimes you'll see some differences in those machines once you start running a little bit of notch. But that would be after I've hunted it a certain way. And then I would go in with the notch, like Dwayne just said. I think that's an awesome, awesome idea, and something that I would highly recommend as well. So thank you, Dwayne, for sharing that. Get That Treasure says it could just be lately I've been in ultra urban high noise areas, construction equipment, cars. Hey, Get That Treasure, I got a question for you. Do you dive with your machine by chance? I'm curious. Alan Burns says XP has filed for 2 trademarks that I don't recognize. They're called X-Term Hunter and Wide 5. Oh, there you go. Alan may be on to something. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that could be for something way on down the road too. So Joe Dirt says the general program version 1.1 did lower tones and ID just a smidge. I can now call out nickels. Very good. Awesome. That's good to hear, Joe Dirt. Thanks for sharing. Ken Silver says, I used audio response at 7. I don't care about hearing depth. I just want to make sure I hear every object I can. And in some cases, that's what you got to do for sure, Ken. So I get that. That's awesome, dude. Audio response at 7, that'll definitely light it up for sure. If you use the bone conduction headphones with it, you'll really get lit up if you use them on land. But no, that's a great idea. Thank you for sharing. Metal Detecting with the CZ Kid says audio response 3 or 4, too much, and you have a harder time telling the signal. I agree. Yeah, once you start messing with that audio response, sometimes it will you're not going to be able to tell much about the target because it's just so dang loud in some cases. And when I'm in iron sights, naturally, I don't want to hear that big iron just blowing my eardrums off sometimes too. So always good to lower it down if you need to. Get That Treasure said, not yet, but I plan on this summer. Yeah, okay. The only reason why I was asking that is I had a friend of mine who said that he is dove with his machine quite frequently, and he's noticed that it seems like it's lost some, but that's in the external speaker. So that's the only reason why I was asking that. But thank you for letting me know. So again, sensitive full tones. I love and pounded out sights for you guys that have not tried it yet. So try sensitive full tones and then adjust it. How many of you have adjusted the volume settings in the bends on your tones? How many of you have adjusted that? Have any of you played around? I've done it on mine to a certain extent in full tones, that is. I know I'm a little bit delay. One Golly says fast program is amazing in heavy iron audio response 5. Yes, that's what I use mostly all the time right now. Relic hunting, I do. Thank you, Prospectors Cash. You the man. I appreciate that. When I hunt the beach, I notch out 0 to 23 and 83 and above. I use beach sensitive and dive. Dan, that's exactly right. Once you hunt that beach quite frequently, you realize all those full numbers are going to be down there in those low areas. Anything above an 83 usually is going to be, unless you're hunting for silver, but most of the time Dan's not hunting for silver. He's hunting for gold. And so he will notch out up to anything 83 and above as well. Thank you, Prospectors Cash. I appreciate the super sticker. Thank you. Remember, all donations go straight back into the channel. We are working on purchasing a drone that I'm going to start taking out with me on some of my relic hunting adventures. So any money that's donated right now, that's what I'm putting that money towards, is a drone. And we're on it. We're getting there. All of my other channels are doing pretty good right now too. So again, any donations, any super stickers, super thanks, all of that is going straight back to the purchase of a new drone. So that's what we're going to have coming up. And I'll be able to show you guys some really killer footage. That's what I'm hoping for. Metal Detecting says sensitive full tones really brings out the coins, masked, and iron. Definitely does. And that's what I've seen too. I found multiple buttons and real heavy iron in places I had pounded before using sensitive full tones. So thank you so much for sharing that, Northwestern Wisconsin. Sensitive full tones, high square tones sound awesome just the way they are. Okay, great. Sensitive full tones seems like it's working for a lot of people. I made the adjustments in full tones to emphasize the higher VDIs. I'm using the WS6 and only hunting by sound. Very good, David. The WS6 is what an amazing machine the WS6 is. I've been using it out on the beach a lot, and I just love that setup. So again, I'm with you, David. So with those tone bins, you can adjust those volumes on each one of those settings, and you can make the higher tones sound, just real crystal clear. You can make them sound as loud as you want to make them sound. You can use the equalizer to adjust them too as well. And that's a great feature that I think some of us forget about, is we can really adjust those tone bends and adjust the volumes of those tone bends. So if you haven't done that, you ought to try it out. I think you'll enjoy it, and set it up for what works best for your ears. If you're using full tones, to hunt with, because it really does. It really makes a big difference in a lot of cases. So try setting up those tone bend volumes, and I think you'll enjoy that. At the end of the day, if it repeats, dig it. There's no better discriminator. That's the truth. And Surfside Dan's a good indicator of that. And then when he dug that gun, that was definitely the discriminator in that situation. Yeah, and I had somebody tell me, and this is another good question, that their equalizer wasn't necessarily working the way that they thought. But just play with it, set it up for what you think works best for your ears. But I do know that the tone volumes do work in each one of those bins, so you can make the lower VDI targets sound real quiet, or you can make them sound really loud. It's whatever you're hunting for, but you can adjust those volumes in each one of those tone bins, and it's actually really cool. And I've done it on mine, especially when I'm hunting silver. I'll turn up those last few to try to get those really nice coins in some parks and places like that. Yes, amen. Get that treasure. That's right. The ultimate discriminator is that shovel for sure. Lance says equalizer only works with headphones. Right. Yeah, it's not going to make that big of a difference with the external speaker. The only way you're really going to know it is if you are using your headphones. Definitely. Ricky Bennett. Hey, Ricky, glad to have you in here tonight too. He says, I like to adjust the equalizer. It works for him. Right. And some people were saying that their equalizer wasn't necessarily doing anything when they were moving it up and down, but I don't know what they were actually doing, but if you put those headphones on, you can tell some differences if you start adjusting it. But the volume thing, I think, is huge. And for those of you that haven't tried that, you need to try it in full tones. I think you'll really like that feature. The equalizer works good for me with the XLs as they sound muffled a bit, right? Yeah, so you can change that up a little bit. And I agree with you. The XL2s, they do have a little bit of a muffled sound to them. I'll tell you, I'm going to be honest, I like the WSA2 headphones maybe a little better than the WSA XL2s. And I've been using them a lot out on the beach. And if you have the WSA2s, don't run short with those headphones, because they actually do sound pretty good. And Michael Coley, a good friend of mine, will tell you that as well. Timmy J says, wow, that gun is amazing. Saw the pic of it cleaned up. It's fantastic condition, really. Yeah. And it's wait till you see the real deal. And we're going to have that thing featured next week. So y'all need to stay tuned for the next live stream. And we're going to have Surfside Dan in the house. Dan, excellent metal detectorist. He's going to be on here, and he's been featured on the Discovery Channel. For those of you that remember the show Rebel Gold, Dan and I have hunted together a few times. He lives in my area. It's just a wealth of knowledge. I love talking to him, and I think you guys are going to love seeing him live and in person when we do this show. And we talk about the gun, and we're going to talk about some other things. He's an avid XP Deus II user, but he also has the Manicore, which you guys found out when we dug the gun. But we might get into a little bit of that too, talking about some of the things that he's noticed with the Manicore. So we'll get into that. Yeah, the WSA 6 are crisp. The WSA 2s, I think, are crisp too. Metal detecting with CZ Kid. So definitely. Get That Treasure says, I use the WS6 with the Quest full ear headphones. How do you like those Quest headphones? Get That Treasure. I'm curious to know. Yeah, Jay Strombo says WSA 2. I know that. I agree with you, Jay. And I didn't really think that until I got my pair of WSA 2s and I started using them. And I'm going like, you know what? These things sound really good. And I'm using them on the beach, and I don't really have any problem with hearing noises and things like that with the sort of open headphones. But I think the WSA 2s sound excellent. So, yeah, definitely. Get That Treasure says, I like them a lot. Yes. Okay. So what do you think the sound sounds like? Get That Treasure. Does it sound sort of tinny? Does it sound muffled? I mean, give me a description of what you think it sounds like with those Quest headphones. I might try to feature those on my Amazon store too. And guys, if you are looking for products too, since I said that, I do have an Amazon affiliate store, and I have all the XP stuff listed in there. So you can go and check those things out. And of course, I do make a slight commission on some of that stuff, but it's not a lot. Take my word for it. Joe Dirt says, I just had to tell my wife to stop talking because this show is on now. Well, thank you, Joe Dirt. I appreciate that. I don't want to get you in trouble, though, Joe. So don't get yourself in trouble. Metal detecting with CZ Kid. I had the WSA 2 as well when I used the puck setup. Yes. And that's another thing, too. And I know I mentioned this last week. I'll mention it again because most of us are hunting right now in really high temperatures and hot, humid conditions. The WSA 2s, you can take that puck off of the headphones and you can plug in another set of headphones. And if you want a little pair of earbuds to put in, and you can hook them up to the WSA 2. If you want to take a WSA 6 and pair them with a WSA 2, God, that's a tongue twister. But pair them together, you could do that as well. I just know with the XL2s that when it's really hot, it's really not a lot of fun to wear a full headset like that. So the WSA 2s, though, are a good alternative. And there are some things, too, that you guys can buy. And I might even make a video, and I was going to do that this week, but I'll try to make a video showing you some of the things that might work. Let's see what else. I'm trying to catch up with the comments. My son says he can rig up a small solar panel that attaches to the coil where you can charge the coil on the run. He claims to be a semi-genius. So there you go, Lance. Let him do it. Let him do it. And then tell him to get a patent on that thing. Maybe y'all can sell a few. It's rich and covers the ear all the way. Okay, very good. So he's talking about the Quest headphones. For those of you that don't know, you can take the WSA 6 puck off and you can put them into those Quest headphones. And he says they sound really good. I don't know because I don't have a pair of those. But he said they're very comfortable for his big head. All right. So if you got a big head, hey, Get That Treasure says they work really well. The same thing as everything. Southern Relic Adventures. The link will be in my description after the video's over with. It's in all of my descriptions, pretty much on most of my full-length videos. But yeah, if you buy something off of Amazon, guys, I would appreciate it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something metal detecting too. You can, as long as you click on my page and you buy something, then it helps me out. So if that, if anybody's interested, not forcing it on anybody by any means. Timmy J says, I sold my Deus 2 after a long deliberation and just to run with the Manicore for now. I was hoping you had some inside info on the new XP version of the machine. Yeah, Timmy J, I'm telling you, you're probably going to want to get that Deus 2 back. But, the Manicore is a great machine. The update that they've done, I think, has really calmed that machine down. So, I think they're going to be equal in a lot of situations. Of course, I still believe that the Deus II might have a slight edge in unmasking and heavy iron still over the Manicore. But anyway, thank you, Timmy J. Adelaide Lampersky Rutherford. Hi, Southern Rail. I have the Quest headphones. She says she loves them. Okay, thank you. That's Adele, right? Not, is it Adele or Adelaide? I don't know. I can't tell, but Adele. So very good. Thank you for sharing. Glad to have you on here too. I told my wife to stop talking one time. Didn't work out so well to me and the couch got acquainted. Oh no. CZ, I don't want that to happen. Laugh out loud, Lance. Good on your young bloke. He sounds like a cool dude. There you go. Yes, Lance is. Lance is a really great guy. Don't forget to like the stream. Yeah, guys, if you hadn't hit that like button, definitely do that. You guys are all so super amazing, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Terry Greenway, great to see everyone. Glad to have you on here, Terry. Prospectors Cash says, I have the Quest. They work as good as my XLs. Very good. Thank you, Prospectors Cash, for sharing that. And she said it is Adele. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to have you on here tonight. I haven't seen you before, but glad to have you here. Coin Goblin says, I've had pretty much every machine on the market and wouldn't trade the Deus II for any of them. And I think there's a lot of people on this show tonight that would totally agree with you, Coin Goblin. The Deus II is an amazing machine. And I'm so excited to be affiliated with them. And they're an excellent company, and they do a really good job. Get That Treasure says, I know the Manicore will make signals disappear if they are too close to your Deus II. Same with all the other Equinoxes. Yeah, they could. They give off what they call silent EMI. It can blind the machine. So definitely. And James Bazell says, hey, Adele, welcoming her to our show tonight. Appreciate that, James. Lance says, I finally got to swing a Manicore. I was impressed with it, but it still feels like a brick compared to the Deus II. It does feel a little heavy, but it's not. I still don't think it's as heavy as the Equinox was. So they have done good in that department and sort of reconfiguring it. Surfside Dan says, same here, Adele. Glad to have you on here. And again, she said, James Bazell, hi, my friend. Anthony Faustino Price says, where is the XP survey? You can go on I think it's on it might even be on YouTube too, but I know it's on their Facebook page. If you type in XP metal detectors and go to their main Facebook page, you can click on that there. Also, it is also on the XP Deus II Facebook group. I know it's on there too as well. But you can click on either one of those things and access the survey there. But you do need to fill it out, and your email gets put into a drawing for a giveaway. So definitely. And Coin Goblin says, yes, it's on the XP site as well. Wild here says, I used my WS6 on some Grey Ghost Platinums while my WSA2 XLs were being repaired. Found it difficult to go back to the WSA2s. They are crisp. That is so true. And I didn't realize it because I've been using the XLs for so long that I didn't realize how good the WSA6 has sounded and the WSA2 sounded. So I'm with you guys on that. I do think that they've got a pretty good, crisp, clear sound. But for you guys that do have the XLs, and I've done this to a certain extent, you might want to go in and adjust the equalizer settings on your machine and see if you can fine tune it to make it where it's not so muffled. It doesn't sound so blah, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yes, Coin Goblin says the survey is on the XP site, so you can go over there. Lance says he did the survey on their Facebook page, right? A lot of people came and did that. The odds of winning giveaways are, he says, 1 million to 1. Lance, if you would have come to Dig Stock, you would have won something. That's when the odds would have been in your favor. I promise you, because I was there and I gave away a lot of stuff at Dig Stock. So definitely, you would have won something that day. Metal Detectant says, Brian, very difficult to find store on Amazon. Yes, and the link will be on my on this video after we get done. I'll make sure that I post it in the description so you guys can click on it. And if you click on a lot of my full length videos, I think the link's on there too, but I'll make sure that it gets in there. Thank you so much, CZ. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. David Moss says, I'm thinking about getting the 11 by 13. Who all is using one for relics? I've got up 3 or 4 videos, David. You need to go watch with the 11 by 13. It did fantastic. I was really blown away with the separation of that big coil. I was not expecting that at all. A friend of mine says, hey, you need to try it. I tried it. I was blown away with the separation. I never expected a 13-inch coil to do that well in a really heavy loaded iron sight. So I'm a big fan of the 13-inch. But of course, I'm a big fan of all the coils, the 9, the 11, 13. They all have their purpose. But all 3 of them unmask unbelievable. Some a little better than others, but the 13 will unmask an iron. James Bazell says, I've been detecting for over 52 years. I've had my share of detectors. Nothing beats the Deus II, and nobody will ever take it from me. It's that good. James, that's so good to hear. And I know XP loves hearing those things like that. And I'm going to share this video with XP, so they're going to know what you guys are saying. Dig stock's on your bucket list. You need to do it. It's a lot of fun. And again, there were a lot of good giveaways at Dig Stock. Prospector's Cash says XP had me with the 5-year warranty and its ability underwater in the day is to a great machine. Right. So, you know, and here's what's so funny. So I was talking the other night with someone and they didn't even know that it had a 5-year warranty, and they were MindLab users. And I'm going like, well, you know, the Deus II's got a 5. I didn't know that. And I was going like, yeah, it's got a 5-year warranty. And so I didn't know it. I'm definitely going to start looking at the Deus II. But again, that 5-year warranty is huge because MindLab's only got a 3-year warranty. I think Nocta's only got a 3-year warranty. Garrett, I don't know what their warranty is, but I don't think it's 5 years. And so, yeah, 5-year warranty is big, Prospector's Cash. So thanks for bringing that up. And then the ability to go underwater. Just remember, you guys have got a machine that can just about do everything. It can go underwater, it can hunt, it can relic hunt, it can beach hunt, it can treasure hunt, it can shallow water hunt, it can park hunt. I mean, wow, this is the machine that everybody's been waiting for, in my opinion. But, you know, some people are still, you know, going to go with those other brands, and that's fine. Those are great machines. But to me, this machine really covers all of its bases very, very well. Don't Tread on Me. Remember the difference the HF coil made on the Deus 1. Hoping for similar for the Deus 2. We'll see. We'll see. Don't Tread on Me metal detectors. I think it is, whatever it is, for sure. The reason that they have a 5-year warranty is because you won't need it. Right. I mean, I sold my Deus 2 last year. I mean, my Deus 2. I sold my Deus 1 last year when I got my Deus 2. And it was 8 years old, maybe. Yeah. So, and it was still going strong. I mean, it's just usually a solid machine, and I haven't heard any different as far as the Deus 2's going so far too. Yeah. Greeny Meanie says, I used the warranty on the Deus 1. Okay. Yeah. Well, and there are some cases like, I did have somebody tell me the battery died. Okay. So, but this machine is pretty rugged, pretty durable. And, you know, you hear horror stories about some other machines, and it just makes me glad that I have a Deus too. So, you know, for whatever that's worth to anybody. I'm a Deus guy, no doubt, but the Day 2 has had a lot of trouble with iron falsing. All versions of software. I usually hunt heavy iron, though. It's driving me crazy. I've been hunting in mono, no falses. T-Bird, there, I mean, it to me, it just comes down to, and I mean, everybody's different, but to me, it just comes down to really listening to those sounds and being able to figure out what some of those falses are doing. Usually big iron, you're going to get falses. Anytime you get over a bent nail, especially a bent square nail, you're going to get falses. There is no machine out there that you're not going to get some form of iron falsing. And, you know, it just is what it is. And I've just tried to learn the machine the best I can. And I know that's probably not the answer you want to hear, but that's all I can tell you at this point, because I don't know of many machines that are going to get rid of some of those types of iron, the big iron, the bent square nails, some of those rose head nails too. Some of those that if they've been in the ground for a long time, they'll cause you fits. And everybody in here, I think, sees the same thing. So but hang in there with it. Start listening. Sometimes the best remedy is just to turn the iron volume all the way down and just hunt and try to listen to that false without anything else going on in the background. Maybe that'll help some. So that's just one of my suggestions for you, and see how that works. But let me know. Thank you though for sharing. Greeny Meanie says they fixed his machine, fixed his screen real fast, no complaints. Awesome, Greeny Meanie. That's glad to hear that for sure. Thank you for sharing. Don't tread on me, metal detecting. Batteries were an issue on the HF coil. Yeah, I do remember some people having to change their batteries out, but I actually saw some people actually doing that themselves, and it didn't seem that hard. But I never had to change mine out, so that was a good thing. Get that treasure. Even with the falsing, you still hear a type of edge usually. That's right, and that's what I was just trying to explain. Sometimes just turning that iron volume all the way off when you're in heavy iron can sometimes help to let you hear what that target sounds like. You don't hear all the other stuff. Don't tread on me, truth. You need falsing. Yeah, so you're gonna have falsing. Like I said, when they invent a metal detector that has zero iron falsing, then I'll be the first one to buy it. And I have yet to see that, but who knows? Technology is really advancing. Terry Greenway, what is the deep program? General, sensitive, full tones, or deep high conductor, in all of your opinions? So to me, deep high conductor used to be the one that I go to, but now I would say sensitive full tones. It really is. It's extremely deep, but all of these programs are deep. I mean, the Deus II is just a deep machine. I don't think General's quite as deep, but I've dug some deep targets with it, but I don't think it's quite as deep as those other two that you mentioned, Terry. So, but again, try it out, test it out, and see what you think. Coin Goblin says, I made my brother a believer. He has an E-track. We both checked the target he found. It was mixed with iron. The Deus II read it loud and clear. Turned out to be a seated dime. He wasn't going to dig it. Well, look, I didn't dig that gun that Dan swung over, but it was iron, and we both knew it was iron. So I get it, Coin Goblin. That's awesome, dude. Thank you for sharing. Lance McElwain says, I hardly ever got false signals with my old bounty hunter, but then again, I never got many signals at all. Lance, I know you're a hunter, dude. I've seen your videos and things. I know you hunt really well. Thank you for sharing. T-Bird says, I know my machine, guys. I promise you, I hunt more than most people. And T-Bird, I agree. I'm sure you do. And it's just, I think it's just a matter of just listening. But hey, good. Just keep trying with it, and hopefully it'll get better for you. And see if you can tell any differences in some of those iron signals. You might even want to do it in a test garden too. I've done that. So, I mean, there's no harm in doing that. I promise you. But trust me, I've had to do all kinds of things to try to figure out how to get rid of some of the falsing and some of the other targets and things that I was looking for. So no harm in doing any of that at all. That doesn't mean you don't know your machine, or you don't know what. That's definitely not what it means. So, but just go out there and try it. It'll work. It'll work. Don't tread on me, metal detecting. I was on a site today where the square nails were made a little too well. That blacksmith went heavy on the non-ferrous alloys. Oh yeah, those square nails, especially if they're bent, those are the ones that usually give you the fits. And I'll dig them. And like T-Bird was just saying, I've dug my share of square nails, and I get fooled. I mean, I do. I get fooled a lot. But I do better with the Deus II than I did with the Equinox. And I do better than what I did with my E-Track and with some of my other machines. So, everybody's different though, guys. They sure are. So Everybody's different. Get That Treasure says the most important thing is to enjoy your hunt. That's true. If that means turning up discrimination or turning off iron audio, then do it. It's okay not to get absolutely everything every single time. Thank you, Get That Treasure. What a great comment. And he's exactly right. You know, we'll go on there and we'll go out there, and sometimes we get consumed with the machine side of it. And I've had this conversation with a few of my friends. You know, they want me to go out and test this and test that. And there's sometimes you just want to go out and hunt. You don't want to worry about messing with settings or doing some of these other things. You just want to go out and hunt, have a good time, and you want your hunt to be enjoyable too. And Get That Treasure's dead on with that comment. Thank you so much for saying that. Terry Greenway, thanks. Johnny Bottles is on here. Glad to have you on here, Johnny Bottles. Terry Greenway says, I've dug less nails in iron with the 1.10 version. I think 0.71 is really, really good. Get That Treasure says, it's funny how square nail will turn you off and a brass nail will turn you on. That's so true. You got some good ones. Thank you, Get That Treasure. Jay Strombo says, nails can fool the best. That's true. And like I said, I know T-Bird was having a hard time, but it's the truth. It's hard to resist those nails. It just is. And it's hard to resist sometimes those big pieces of iron. They'll get you. I'll dig them. I'll dig them with the best of them. So I get it. And they all faults on iron. There's just not much you can do about it, unfortunately. You just got to try to listen and see if you can figure it out, is the best way to do. You can flip around on programs sometimes too. Sometimes that will help. Some programs will sound off even higher on iron versus other programs. So that's another thing that some of you could try as well. David Moss says, one difference I have seen with the Deus II in the general program compared to the 9-inch HF coil is I'm not digging as nearly as many 22 bullets. I haven't tried sensitive full tones yet. And I don't, now that you said that, David, I don't think I've dug as many 22s the last few times that I've been out with this update. But every now and then I will. But those things they're in that 40, 50 some range a lot of times, maybe in the low 60s, and they're all different. But yeah, I don't think I've dug as many. Lance says, I mounted my pinpointer under the arm cuff, and now my Deus II feels even easier to swing. I guess it makes a good counterbalance. Okay. There you go, Lance. Bobby Short says, turn down your sensitivity if your targets are shallow. Definitely. Yeah, because those shallow targets are going to blow your eardrums off for sure. Okay, guys. Well, we've been on here for just over an hour. Just a couple of reminders about some things. Don't forget, next week we are going to have our live stream. We'll be back regular time, Friday night, 7:30. We are going to be featuring Surfside Dan's going to be on with us, and we're going to show and talk a little bit about the recovery of that Confederate pistol that a lot of you have already seen. So he's going to be on with it. We're going to talk about that. Surfside Dan is a really good beach hunter, and he's a TV star too, by the way, which I mentioned earlier. But he's going to be on here, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of his adventures, some of the settings and things that he uses out on the beach, relic hunting. He's a wealth of knowledge, so I'm looking real forward to having Surfside Dan on here with me on next Friday night. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I answered everybody's questions the best I could. And you guys are, again, the most amazing group on YouTube as far as metal detecting goes. And I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you if you donated money tonight to the channel. So I really appreciate all of you. You guys are great. And I hope everyone has a safe and wonderful 4th of July. You enjoy time with your families, and you get out there and you get to do some detecting either at the beach or in a park or in the woods. Go out and enjoy yourself. Have fun using the machine that you use. Doesn't necessarily have to be a Deus II. Of course, a lot of the conversation tonight was about Deus II, but that's why I'm looking forward to having Dan. Dan's a Manicore user too. So we're going to talk a little bit about Manicore next week too as well. So you guys are awesome. Thanks again. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace. I'll see you guys on my next adventure. Take care, guys.